Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, happy Saturday. Hello, it's Saturday. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. It's Saturday. How is everybody doing? The views and opinion expressed on this live are those of Darlene April. This is Saturday morning Jive talking. So how's everybody doing? Actually, we got like an inch of snow last night. I am coming to you broadcasting live from Joliet, Illinois. Broadcasting live. What I want to talk about is good morning to Butt Files. This is YouTube. This is YouTube. This is not real life. People will love you. People will diss you. People will throw you away. People will walk all over you like you're a doormat. It is very upsetting to me that a person I know put so much stock into a group of people that are now making her a laughing stock. Keep your head up. Don't be fooled by trick Negroes and lying bees. Lying bees. Keep your head to the sky. Remember, everyone is beautiful and amazing. Hey, Diva Divine Light, how are you doing this morning? Diva, come up here for a minute because I need you to break down some of those oral arguments. Um, I get iron fusions starting next week. I go to get iron fusions. So I've been a little lightheaded, dizzy because my iron is so low, sleeping a lot. Um, I'm doing well. So, Diva, from what I gather in the oral arguments, were they saying like if he does um get a new trial that they might give him more time? And we are talking about R. Kelly, who is trying to get an appeal. No, baby girl, I go and get iron fusion starting Monday. Starting Monday. Yeah. How the kids doing, Diva? How's hubby doing? Diva, divine light. We got 5 years of history on YouTube. We met in the R. Kelly crazy sector. Yeah, I said the R. Kelly crazy sector, full of nuts, bolts, and screws. And see, this is so weird. Nobody calls me until it is. I'm on the phone. I'm doing the show. Hold on. Hey, Diva.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, girl.
Well, I hear about your anemia. I'm sorry about that. That's something my sister used to go through a lot too. So I understand that pain and girl.
Girl, long as it ain't the cancer that's can come back, I can deal with anything else. You know.
God bless her. So your question as far as what happened with Mr. Kelly's appeal hearing, um the judges were saying that he has to realize that if he does if they do decide to let him go back for resentencing, right? And they decide, they say, okay, well, you know what? His sentencing wasn't fair enough, so let's go back and do it over again. They go back, they do it over again, then they'll have to readjust it accordingly to the guidelines and whatever have you be. But if he goes back and he goes for a new trial and they do it all over again, then he's taking a risk of getting more time because instead of them giving him his time concurrent the way it is, they would change it and give it to him consecutively. So instead of him just doing 30 years altogether for both, he would have to do 30 and then whatever they give him plus. So it would be 30 plus 20 years, or 30 plus 10 years, or 30 plus 15 years, whatever they change it to. So he's taking a risk by doing that. Miss April, I don't hear you. Miss April, are you
Diva, you said you.
I hear you
Wait a
now.
minute.
I hear you
Oh,
now.
okay.
I hear you now.
Wow. So that's like a big roll of the dice then.
Right. That's more or less what the judges was telling Miss Bonjean. He's taking a really big risk by doing this. Because he could get, instead of him getting less time, he could get more time.
And then he will go before the same um judges.
Yes.
Like if he would have to go in front of
Judge Lennon Webb.
Auntie
Judge,
okay, that was for Chicago.
right.
And Leonard Webber really gave him a break.
Right. So I don't even understand why Bonjean even, she should have, I don't know. It's because Bonjean, remember, she originally was asking for 14 years or 11 and a half years. I forgot what it was, one of the two.
Yeah.
So instead, Judge Linen-Weber was like, well, that might be too low of a standard because of the fact that he's already been convicted in New York. So, being that he had a conviction, he had to raise it to the standard to where he had a point. You know how they make it that they do a point system, one,
Uh-huh.
three, So,
Right.
being that he had zero, right? Because originally he's never been convicted of anything. But
Mm-hmm.
with the New York charges, that gives him a conviction. So when he went to Chicago, he has that conviction against him. So in other words, he went from a level zero offender to a level one offender. So that's why Judge Linen-Weber decided to give him the 20 years. Because if not, he probably could have got 14.
Right.
But being that he was already convicted in New York, that gave him a disadvantage, you know what I mean? Where unfortunately he has to have a conviction, which makes it his sentencing points more than what it would normally be if he had zero and it was his first offense. So,
Wow.
so they kind of like, so because Judge Linen-Weber was like also that he said at trial at the sentencing that he sees that he could have, if it was him, if R. Kelly did a bench trial, right, where the judge would have made the decision, R. Kelly would have gotten convicted on the conspiracy charges. That's more or less what Judge Linen-Weber was saying. But he gave him a break, and because of the factors of the elements to everything, he had to raise the points up to a certain number for the guidelines, and then Ms. Bonjean saying that it's not fair because he wasn't convicted of the conspiracy charges. So why is he adding more points for that? That's what she's, like fighting about, that it wasn't fair. And as far as the statute of limitations with the girls and his conviction for the enticement to produce pornography with these girls, um, he could have gotten 10 years for each count, but he didn't.
I know.
Right,
I know. He was blessed, Diva.
right. He should just take his lesson as it is, I think. Like, because I mean, he's taking a risk by going through these appeals if they do, because if he has to go back, he could get more time. They could look at it as de novo, which is like brand new set of eyes, starting fresh all over again. And then if more things come up or more evidence comes up, he can be charged with more evidence, even if another victim decided to come in. You understand? So
Yeah.
that's a risk, but it's his freedom and this is how he's feeling, and his lawyer's got to do her job. So that's what it is. Whether she's advising him and saying, well, listen, this is this and this is that. He's the one at the end of the day that makes the decision because it's his life. Jennifer can only guide him, but so much. At the end of the day, like Greenberg said, he was trying to advise R. Kelly, but R. Kelly really didn't want to listen. And then he was fighting with the other lawyers on who's going to be the head trial lawyer and this, that, and the third. So that messed it up for him as well. So, and
Right.
Winbush and other people being in his ear to let go of his lawyers fucked it up for him. Because when the new lawyers came, they didn't have enough time to look at everything. They looked at everything as fast as they could, but they didn't really sit there and have a chance to really dig through shit. So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's R. Kelly who makes the decisions on his life. It's not really the lawyers. The lawyers only advise him. And if he says, no, I don't want to do this and no, I don't want to do that, then these are the decisions that the lawyers have to abide by. You know.
Wow. Wow.
And
I want
take about a month for them to make their decision. So let's see in the next 4 weeks. Within the next 4 weeks, they should make a decision.
to. So, if he's granted that appeal in in uh, the federal case in Illinois, okay. So, the option is if he gets they could give him a new trial, which he can get more time. What's the other option?
The other option is he could go for resentencing and he could still get more time because they could balance it out with his other conviction.
Oh damn! Oops,
Right.
excuse me for cursing, y'all.
That's why
Oh
the
damn!
that's why the judge was saying he's taking a really big risk. So she's like, make sure that your client understands that.
So either way, if they give him, if he wins this appeal, he would have to either a retrial or the sentencing. But that doesn't look good at all.
Regardless.
Knowing when you go in and they can give you more time, which I think they would do that, Diva.
Right, because they already charged him the first time concurrent. Now they come back, they can change it to consecutive, which means he has to do time plus time instead of all the time in one shot.
Okay, so I know when you in the feds, you have to do 85% of your time.
Right, that's why he has to do in New York, he has to do 25 years before he can go up for parole or probation.
Okay, but wait a minute. What if you go to the classes, um, become a role model?
That doesn't matter.
Would that help?
That
Does
would
that help?
that would help. That would help for his file building as far as so when he comes up to the parole board, they can say, well, he's been a standard citizen in here. He hasn't had any violations. He hasn't had any write ups. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. Okay, so you know what? The 25 years, let's give him that and we'll release him. And then they'll let him go if he's really a model citizen in jail. You know what I mean? But he has to do 25 years before he even thinks about saying, "Can I be released?"
Oh Lord.
Right. And like say for instance, they said in
That
the
would make him 82 years. I think 82 years old at
yeah,
when he does 25 years.
85 years old, something like that when he comes out. Yeah, 84, 85, something like that. Yeah. Um and then with the Chicago, it would be um 15 years and then he can come up for parole. So if they released him, right? If they let him go for Chicago, he still has to say, for instance, he does the 15, right? And he still has 10 more left over for New York. He has to complete the 10 in New York before he even thinks about being released. Even though they let him go for Illinois, he won't be able to be released from jail. He has to finish the charges in New York. So he would have to do 10 more years before he even thought about being released, regardless.
Hmm.
Right, because remember, he still has another charge in another state.
Wow.
Right.
Those options aren't good. Is there anything other than the act of God? Is there anything that he could do right now, Diva, that would help him?
Well, if they decided to acquit him in New York, then he wouldn't have to worry about New York anymore. He would only have to worry about Chicago. And if they decide to resentence him in Chicago, and the judge decides to be a really nice person and God is on his side, then maybe he would get a lighter sentence and just have to complete just the Chicago sentencing instead of New York if they acquit him. Because remember, she's going for an acquittal and a new trial.
Yeah, New York. Um, New York. Um, but they always. I mean, we know that Jane Doe 5 is messed up, but that's not the only charge.
Right.
Uh,
There's the
uh,
other girl. You know what I mean? So,
and
hey,
and that's what people have to remember is even though Jane Doe number 5, uh,
the only way something would happen with Jane Doe number 5 is if he decided to do a writ, habeas corpus, because then he can introduce new evidence to drop charges against him. Other than that, he can't do anything with Azrael right now. He can't do nothing.
now those text messages, would they allow those text messages to be new evidence?
Right, 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 right.
And they should.
So if he went back after his appeal was denied and decided to do a habeas corpus and bring it up to the Supreme Court, then the Supreme Court could come back and say, okay, well, we'll grant him a new trial, and that means he can bring in all new evidence, new witnesses, the same witnesses, all that. And it would go back to the same judge, Judge Donnelly, unless they requested a new judge because the judge made an error. Other than that, it would be the same exact judge all over again.
Wow. Good morning, Deacon Jones, Steve Gilmore,
Good morning, good
Miss
morning.
Queen, Susanna. R. Kelly had oral arguments. He's trying to um get an appeal, and the oral arguments was for his Illinois federal. Please make sure for the slow people, it's the Illinois federal case. There were no state charges, only federal.
Right, because they dropped all the state charges against him.
Well, wow, those aren't good options. And to me, if they kept emphasizing that, then that means that they're trying to tell him, dude, you come before us again, we gonna knock it to you.
Right, that there's a chance that he's risking that he can get more time because they can run it consecutively. Because right now they have it at concurrent, so they could either keep it at concurrent or they would put it consecutively. So it's a risk, but it's his decision. This is what he's wanted, and he knows what the risk is. So it all depends on what's going to happen next.
Girl, hey young Briaz and Bayou, Sugar Garden, Diva, those aren't good. Those aren't good chances.
So I
Tho-
mean, the only
I
thing
mean, realistically speaking,
you got to quit.
and I'm a realist. I think if he wins a new trial, I think they're gonna throw the book at him.
That's a possibility. I mean, they threw the book at him already. He's trying to get the book not thrown at him again, but it could be really worse because right now, basically, he is facing a life sentence. I mean, 30 years of his life. Will he survive to be 85 before he comes home? You know what I mean? So, if he's in good health, of course, he can come home at 85 as long as he's in good health. You know what I mean? If he takes care of himself, he'll come home. If not, then it could be a possibility that he could pass in jail, you know? And
Oh
that's what
Jesus, don't
Gene,
say that.
right, and that's what Bonjean is trying to prevent, and what she pleaded to the appeals court judges. Like technically this is this man's life, and he's got 30 years. That's basically a life sentence for him. So they didn't throw the book at him, but they threw the book at him, you know, because technically he could have gotten life in prison.
Right, because I know who was that who was it? Keith Ramir?
Yeah, he got
Uh
129 years.
they
Now,
gave him 100 years.
technically, R. Kelly was supposed to get 95 years for this case alone.
Yeah.
Right. And instead, they only gave him 19 plus one. So they were fair on his sentencing because they could have given him 95 years.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't think it's fair because he doesn't think he deserves to be in prison. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's still unfair to him, you know?
R. Kelly doesn't think he should be in prison.
No, he does not think he should be in prison, puppy.
So he's retarded.
No, he just feels like he didn't do anything wrong.
Raping girls isn't doing anything wrong.
Mm.
Well, he doesn't see it as as that because he feels like the girls were willing participants. That's an apple. You got plenty of ice cream in the fridge.
No, I don't.
What are you talking about? You got vanilla and you got chocolate in there.
What vanilla?
Oh, you don't see
Oh.
the 2 gallons of ice cream in there?
Oh, I heard they said, oh,
That's
they
my
want
son.
them some ice cream,
That's
chocolate and vanilla,
my son. That's my
white, white and brown, ebony and ivory.
son. And sometimes we get cookies and cream, but they didn't have any cookies and cream, so we got a vanilla and a chocolate. So yeah, so I mean,
Okay, now if he wins, say for instance, for New York, if but shoot, no matter what, if he goes for a new trial, I just really think they'll stick it to him. That's just my gut feeling.
yeah, because well, they're gonna if he goes for a new trial, of course, all the witnesses are gonna be back again. And like I said, they can bring in new evidence, that would be towards to harm him, and if that does happen, they could give him more time based on the new findings, or maybe they they could even acquit him and say he's not guilty. You know what I mean? Like maybe with a new set of eyes and Bonjean being his new lawyer. Because remember in New York, he didn't have Bonjean. In Chicago, he had Bonjean. But what really helped him get off that conspiracy charge was the fact that Mr. Brinley, who was representing Daryl McDavid, helped that. And also the fact that 3 of the lawyers or 2 of the lawyers were dead. I think it was 3 or 2 of the lawyers were dead, along with the father. So that helped his case as well because those other people weren't there to testify against him.
Okay.
So, so he got lucky in my eyes, bro. I mean, even though he got convicted, I still feel he got lucky, you know?
Mom.
Even though God put him there, God still looked out for him and said, you know what, my son? You deserve right now to take this lesson, learn it, consume it, como se dice, forgive yourself and others for what has been done. Learn your lesson to never do this again. Keep these snake ass people from around you. Retire from your stuff. Sit back, collect your royalties, and live out the rest of your life, my man. You know, God teaches those lessons too.
Oh yeah, God will humble you.
Right.
God will humble you.
I'm
You
saying
know.
God has done this to humble him because he thought all these years, like he said, they should have done this shit to me 30 years ago. But you know what? I'm handcuffed to my destiny, like a lot of you are. I'm handcuffed to my destiny. And he knows it. So he knew that all those years he was covering up his crimes, he got away with it. And he's bothered by the fact that now they're coming for him when they should have done that a long time ago. He's that's basically what he said in the statement by stating that. He admitted his wrong. He knew he did wrong. They didn't catch him on it. Leave him the fuck alone. Why are you bothering me now when you should have did that shit years ago? But God needed to humble him because he was still committing crimes, even though he wasn't doing it with girls that were 14, 15, and 16. He decided to do it with legal age in his state of Chicago, which is 17. Now, that's okay, but the problem was he decided to take a 17-year-old across state lines to have sex with her. Even though she was legal age in the state of Chicago where he had her, and then took her from Chicago to California, or he took her from Florida to California. You know what I mean? Or he took her from Florida to Chicago, because in the state of Florida, he actually had oral sex with her at the age of 17.
Now check this out. But we're talking about Jane Doe number 5, who
Yeah,
lied about her age, right?
right. Yeah. Mhm.
So, um,
You have to remember, Miss April, he knew her age already because what's her name? What is it? Cheryl Mack or Diana Copeland was asked of her birth certificate and information to book a flight for her. They knew she was 17. So you mean to tell me none of those women went to R. Kelly and said, this girl is 17 years old. What are you doing? So they decided to just let R. Kelly be because that's what they said. Like Diana Copeland said, his
I
business,
mean, she just did her job and booked the flight.
that's what she said. His business is
I
his.
mean, she just did her job and booked
Right.
flights. I mean,
But it doesn't matter. If you see wrong, Miss April, if it was you and you had Miss Copeland's job and you seen that little girl's birth certificate, what the fuck are you gonna do? Are you gonna be his friend and say, yo, check this shit out? This little girl is 17 years old and I don't advise you to bring her to
no, I would have said something. I would have been like, "Come here, buddy boy. We need to talk."
didn't do that because of the fact that if you go to R. Kelly and you say, yo, bro, the shit you're doing ain't right, man. Come on, bro. You gotta, he's gonna go, what? Fuck you. You know what? You either with me or against me. Now you fired, bitch. Get the fuck out my face. That was the problem. So
Now,
people,
Diane Copeland, she didn't work for him that long, did she?
no, she only worked for him for 3 years, but she's known him for 15 or 16 years.
Yeah.
So if she was really his friend, she could have been like, nigga, hello. No. And the people that were trying to tell him, you need to stop, you need help, you need to do this, you need to do that, he didn't want to listen to them. He fired them all because they weren't being yes men anymore. You know, his ego took over. That's the fucking problem. His ego fucked him up. It took over his mental state. It took over his personality. And that's what fucked him up. And everybody around him enabling him and being yes men and hiding things from him and not telling him the truth about shit is what fucked him up because he continued to think I can do whatever I want because can't nobody tell me shit. That's why he's in jail. It's not because of everybody else, it's because of him. He's the one who makes the decisions. He made the wrong decisions in life because he was being a superstar and his super ego tripped. That's it. That's how I see it, man. Like, he fucked himself up, bro. I loved R. Kelly. I loved his music. I mean, I was always rocking to his shit. I had a whole playlist and everything. I watched his videos. I watched his Trapped in the Closet. I would love to see him when he would be on certain shows and programs, you know, like, but man, that's fucked up. You fucked up. You knew what you were doing. You wanted to do what you were doing. You continued to do what you were doing because nobody could tell you shit. So therefore, now you're in the predicament that you're in because of the times that we're in. Things have changed.
And to those that's listening, please be aware that they not playing, and this is to men and women. All of this messing around with
Your fans,
fans,
right?
uh, and I want to say this to people too. With this case touched on everything that's wrong with our community. We like to sweep things under the rug.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that he was abused. Something that, you know, was swept under the rug, or what goes on in this house stays in this house.
I really don't like
And,
saying that to kids either. I don't
and
like.
then and then well, that's that's how people are raised. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
I was raised like that too. My mom used to say that same exact shit.
And no, because somebody's suffering. Somebody is suffering. And you know, I used to say, well, his mom, but then, when abuse is all you know and hurt is all you know. But no more of this. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Now, I know as parents, we all try to do the best that we can. We get no manuscript for being a parent. We get no manuscript for when, you know, certain things happen. Now, God is first in my life. Yes, prayer works. But sometimes you need more than prayer. You need help. You need help. And don't be ashamed to go get the help. We gotta, but even though he was a superstar, he was still just a regular guy, because regular people don't go get help neither. But I wish I wish I could rewrite his whole story. I can't. The only thing I can do is pray for him. That's all. That's all.
Right.
But it's then you got um, bad parents, money, the love of money, because everybody else is living good, but him, he's broke.
Well,
People still have restaurants, you know. So, you know, the love of money.
he's not really broke. He's just not. He just doesn't have the same amount of money that he once did. Let's put it like
Yeah,
that. He's really not broke because he still will be collecting royalties for the rest of his life until the day he dies. And if he doesn't make a will and put the money to go to his kids, then his kids will never get anything either. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and I really hope that he does change that. And he doesn't have to worry about Andrea getting any part of that because the kids are of age now. They're not children.
yeah,
So he should make a will and he should leave assets to his children. That would be a very noble thing for him to do, the right thing for him to do. Um, and he collects money every 3 months. He gets money every 3 months. And it might vary depending on how much streaming of his music goes on. So if you guys just continue to support him, play his music, stream it, download it, he will continue to get royalties no matter what. It might not be in the millions of dollars like he once had, but it could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. And this hurts so bad because this is what his legacy has become, you know.
And it's all because he couldn't control his sexual urges, and that's because he was abused and he never got help. Or he never tried to even help himself. You know what I mean? He just continued to feed his need, his demand of supply, as he grew into a real narcissist. Um, Narcissism is really, really a real thing, man. And there's a lot of narcissists running around. Um, and you just have to be careful not to fall into these people's manipulation. And, unfortunately, he knew what he was doing. And it's just caught up with him now. And now is the time for him to just uh, repent and ask for forgiveness, forgive himself, forgive others, and change his ways. Now that he's being in there, he doesn't have any women to uh, spurge his urge on. You know what I mean? So maybe this is humbling him too, to where he's realizing that he was an addict. Maybe he will. Hopefully, he can take some groups in there and get the help that he needs and realizes that his abuse did have a lot to do with who he became.
Yeah, you say most people that's been abused, they have a high sexual
Yes,
appetite.
very true. I was a victim. I was abused, and it made me hypersexual. Just like he said he was hypersexual at a certain age. Because at the age
Hmm.
of 7 or 8 or 9, you should not know about sex. That should not be in your mind. You should not be curious about it. But once you're uh, brought into it and you see it, your curiosity, your hormones start to jump. And especially at the age of 9, 10, and 11 and 12, you're going through puberty stages and you're coming out of your pubescent stage to become an adolescent, you know. And at that point, your hormones are all over the place, juggling around, and you see these things, you're gonna be um, shocked, you're gonna be awed, you're gonna be curious, you're gonna want to know what it is, you're gonna want to try it. And at that point, if you're abused, and if you're a child and another adult comes to you again, you let it happen because it happened to you once before. You didn't understand it, but now you might understand what you think you might understand as a child, and you let it happen to you again. And then when it happens again, you let it happen to you again. And it's just a repeat cycle to the point to where you get addicted. And it's not, some people actually prefer to be raped in bed after a sexual experience like that. Um, Sometimes it's about you create a fantasy in your mind where you accept the abuse. So when it happens to you again, you don't think it's rape, you just think it's rough sex. So you continue in your mind to be raped and physically raped over and over and over and over and over again. It happens to people. I know it happened to me. I was the one who sat there and let myself be raped over and over and over and over again without doing anything. And the reason being is because I was groped at one time as a teenager in a subway by some strange man who could have kidnapped me and raped me right then and there in the subway. And the cops did absolutely nothing to help me. Nothing.
Oh
So
my God.
at the point, once it happened to me over and over and over again after that fact, I just let it happen because I knew I wasn't going to believe. I wasn't going to be believed. Nothing was going to happen. It was going to take a long time to find the guy. Nothing was going to happen. So I let it continue to happen. And every time it happened, I just put it in a little box, tossed it in the back of my mind, and forgot about it.
But
And
now, Diva, I get brain freezes, so I gotta say this before I forget. And damn it, I just. Oh, okay. When he took all of those exams and everything, now they did come back and said that he had the mind of what, a eighth grader or a third grader?
he has the education of a third grader.
Okay.
Yes. When it comes to
Yeah.
English, writing, math, those things, he has a third grade um, education, but his intellect is of an adult.
Okay.
So his writing is of a first grader, his education is of a third grader, but his intellect is of an adult.
Hey, dear Dana and DJ Tanya, thanks for joining us. Writers for Life, it's your partner, Deacon Jones. Um, R. Kelly was a personal friend of ours. Him and my mom, they had a friendship that was out of this world. Um, I wanted to be clear that, um, you know, I never saw this ever coming. This has been very heartbreaking. I'm glad my mother didn't live to see this, because I don't know how she would have handled this, because she loved him. She loved him. Um,
Can I answer, dear Dana?
yeah.
Dear
Oh,
Dana,
yeah. Hey, dear Dana, meet Diva.
hi baby, how are you? Hello everyone in the chat. Dear Dana, in reality, we all call him a pedo, but he's really not in the term of the sense, because according to what we know, from all the information that's been out there, he never slept with a child under the age of 12. What he is a hebephile, HEBEPHILIE, I think it's spelled. Um, and also a uh, ebophile or something like that. It's called, which means that hebephile deals with adolescents from the ages of 13 to 16 years old. So that's what R. Kelly is. He's an ebophile. I mean, a hebephile. Now, a ebophile is a person who deals with adolescents that are of the ages of 17 years old to 18 years old. Okay, then after 18 and 19, you're pretty much an adult. So he deals with minors that are teenagers between the ages of 14 to 17 years old. So that's where his problems are, dealing with minors between the ages of 14 and 17. Even though he groomed one of the girls from the age of 12, he didn't actually have sex with her. He was just grooming her through telephone calls and having her in his presence and trying to manipulate her and buy her things, sneakers and clothes and jewelry, and going to her basketball games to show his support and speaking on the phone with her. And then it got to a point where he started to have phone sex with her on the phone. So once he started having phone sex with her, now he's teaching her to learn about her body and how to be more sexual with herself and, to act grown. And then by the time she was 14, he actually started to have intercourse with her. So, he went through the grooming phase with that little girl, Rashana Lancaster. Um, and the other girls, he just had her invite the other girls to join in and convince them that it was okay. So that's where his problems began. His problems began in the early 90s when he was dealing with Tiffany and Jafonte and all those other girls, Ebony and the two Ebonies, the other girl, I think her name was Michelle, but nobody knows about her. But her last name is Green, Miss Green, and other girls that were involved that in the early 90s, he used to have them and told them, you girls need to pay your dues. Like, you're hanging out with me and I'm doing all these things and giving you $100 here and $100 there, but y'all got to give it up another way. So that's how he started grooming those girls to have sex with him by saying that they owe him dues. They got to pay up. So he was treating them like prostitutes. And unfortunately, all that stuff, plus what he recently has done with the newest minor he had, which was Jane Doe number 5, Asriel Clary. So it showed a pattern of behavior throughout the years. And that's why he got caught up. And then he had evidence. He had videos. He had collateral letters. He had all these things that messed him up that thought actually in the end they were going to help him to free him. But in the end, it helped sealed his fate and put the nail in the coffin.
Don't record any of your sexual acts, whether they're illegal or legal. You don't want nobody to have no videotapes of you out there having any type of sex, whether it's legal or illegal. Don't videotape yourself.
And you know what? And there's this thing called revenge porn. People
Yeah.
will do vicious things with that stuff. So it's just safer. I mean, unless you're going to do it with your husband because you're married, okay. But if it's just your boyfriend or your girlfriend, don't do it.
Dear Dana says she has a great uncle, 81 years old, currently in jail for molesting children.
Wow.
Dear Dana, did they catch him when he was younger or older? Or did they give him a lot of years?
It all depends too on how many victims he had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Y2K Associate says I was molested as a child and I can see it today in my mind's eye.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. I'm the
And let me tell you, being molested, that's something that never goes away.
ever, ever, never, ever. I still can remember I was watching, I was forced to watch porn on a black and white TV. Okay? I still remember. I can still remember the scene I was watching. That's how traumatized I was by it. I can still smell his penis.
Ew, some dirty penis.
Yes, he was. A dirty old man. Smelled like fucking bacalao. Fish. And I had to touch it and jerk him off while he forced me to watch this porn. I was 9. He was 60 years old.
Oh my God.
Right. And he had his daughter in the next room, who was an adult, who was my babysitter.
Okay, you know you have a 13-year-old saying that.
So she allowed it, or did she know?
She didn't know because she was asleep when it happened.
Oh my God.
She came into the living room where I was sleeping on the sofa. He used to sleep in the bed with her. And I found that odd. And I said, well, he must be molesting her. He must have been molesting her.
Wow. You a strong woman. You know, and some people take their pain and they try to do better, you know.
Yeah, my baby is 17 years old. And
And
she's
then some people take their pain. Well, that's all they know. So they think that's what they're supposed to do
right, it's
when
wrong.
abuse is all you know.
Right, right.
And, you know, once I got into this sector and, you know, we were dissecting everything, you know, molestation, it's deep. It's a lot, and it's still going on today.
It'll never stop. It will never, ever stop. This has been going on since the Bible days. This has been happening for centuries. This had been happening before Christ. This will never, ever stop. Never. It's just we have to, as the law of the lands, have to take care of these people and get them the help they need or convict them, put them in jail and teach them a lesson. Let them get
Yeah.
consequences to suffer and let them know that this can't go on. This cannot continue to happen. It will always be a cycle. The cycle will never, ever stop. It won't. It won't. It won't. As long as we, the people, continue to sweep things under the rugs for our uncles, our grandpappies, our great aunties, our parents, um, the cousins, the brothers and sisters from playing doctor, and from the brothers and sisters and the cousins, playing house, and all these things. Those are the things that lead up to incest and molestation. And then once the family or the friends of the family find out, now we have to protect the abuser and make sure that the victim doesn't say anything and just acts like, okay, it's just because this person's sick. It's normal. Don't worry about it. No, that shit has to stop.
Hey, Diva. A question is, you didn't get pregnant by him, right?
No, he never had sex with me. No.
Oh, okay.
He just molested me by touching me and making me touch him. That was it.
Chi-Town Miss Unique says, I think R. Kelly mother dropped the ball when she didn't press charges on the neighbor that molested him. She took the money allegedly. Sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. That was very, very sad. And I think that's why R. Kelly has a resentment towards women. And I think that's also why R. Kelly decided to continue to do what he did, because if his mom thought it was okay, then it's okay. You know, she had to lead by example, and she did it. But you know what? R. Kelly's mother isn't the only mother.
Yeah, yeah. Um, because most of this stuff, when it would happen, they would send one of the kids away and, pretend like nothing ever happened. They would send them down south to
Right.
be with another relative.
And
Um,
then go to that relative, and the same thing happened to them down there. Like I said, it's just all a psychological pattern that will never cease to exist. It will always be there. It will always exist. It will never stop. What do we have to do as people, though? Once we see it, say something. Protect the child, not the fucking abuser. Excuse my French. I
oh, it's okay. It's
protect
okay.
the abuser. They always want to protect the abuser and leave the victim hanging out to dry. Why? We should be protecting the children. This country is ass backwards. People are ass backwards.
Hey, the realist, Papa Will.
Hello, who?
This is, you know, yeah. See, dear Dana, that's what we're saying. Children that are molested either carry the trauma or repeat the behaviors.
Yep, and that's exactly what R. Kelly did. And I relived my trauma by letting it happen to me over and over again. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to fight. I did not know how to say something. I did not know how to stand up for myself until I reached a certain age. And
So,
that's
what happened when you stood up for yourself, Diva?
what happened was shock. The guy actually left me alone and I was able to walk out. That's
Who
when I
did you tell?
yeah,
Who did you tell first?
I didn't tell anyone.
Oh, you told him you were going to tell.
I told him, if he don't get the fuck off of me, I'm gonna call the fucking cops. Or I'm gonna gouge your fucking eyeballs out. Cause I had my fucking hands in his eyeballs. And he was screaming.
Now, 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 this happened after how long did he abuse you, make you jack him?
I was 19 and I was in a relationship with someone. I was dating a guy. And I didn't want to have sex with him. And he was forcing me to have sex with him. I became, at the age of, I'm 40, what? 47. So when did this happen with R. Kelly? 5 years ago. So I was 42 years old when I told my mother and my aunt all the abuse that happened to me from when I
Wow.
was little all the way till I was an adult. And they were surprised and shocked, crying, hurt, sad, mad. They were yelling at me. They cried with me. They were like, how could you not tell us? And I said, well, when I did tell mom and she went over to the babysitter's house, she didn't do anything. He didn't get arrested. I didn't have to go to court. Nothing happened to this man. So why was I going to tell anybody? And my mom broke down and started crying because she felt bad. And she said she apologized to me. It's just that she didn't want the family to have to be embarrassed. It was about the family name. It wasn't about me. It was about embarrassing my grandfather. That's what it was about. It wasn't about me. It was about the family name. Are you fucking kidding me? So that's why I let shit go on the way it did, when it did, and how it did. And then as an old lady, I decided to say something because R. Kelly's victims gave me the courage to come out and say something. So that's why I've been very interested in this case. And that's why I've learned a lot about my abuse, thanks to R. Kelly. And thank you to those victims who were survivors who decided to take the stand and say no more, and gave courage to other women like me to come out and say something. That's why I
Wow.
say I
That
do.
was a long time. You know, you're looking at 30 years before you actually
That's
sat
something.
down
You got
and
there. I was
had a conversation.
I was
And
I was ashamed of myself. I thought it was all my fault. I thought I did it because I wanted it. But no, mentally I was not right in my head because I was traumatized. And I didn't know how to deal with the trauma, so I relived it over and over and over and over again. People don't understand that. They say when something happens to you, you should say something right away. No, it doesn't always happen like that. You have to understand there's probably something else in the victim's mind that happened, or something that the person that it was, that it could have been my favorite fucking cousin. And I don't want nobody to know that my favorite cousin abused me because I love him, even though I hate the fact that they just hurt me. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to take it to my grave. Why? Because one, I could deal with it. I didn't die. I'm still alive. I'm okay. And you know what? I'm just going to leave it like that because I don't want him going to jail because I love him. I don't want nobody beating on him or, God forbid, killing him because I love him. Because at the end of the day, that's my cousin. Or that's my
yeah,
best friend. Or that's my aunt.
yeah.
Or that's my uncle. Or that's my favorite science teacher. Shit like that happens. People don't get abuse. Until people fucking understand abuse, they will never stop shaming and blaming a victim.
Now, I had
Sorry, Miss April.
I
I just
had some issues
second.
with some of the victims in his case. I felt like some of the girls had been abused before they even got with him.
Most of them.
But you didn't you didn't go after your uncle. Uh, and this was Geronda Pace in her book. Like, she had already been abused. So if you didn't go for
That's
your uncle that had abused you, why would you go for R. Kelly? So those were the issues I had with her. Uh, like, no, 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 baby. We not getting ready to pick and choose.
oh
Either
no,
you go for all of them that abuse you,
but
or
you
you
have
don't go for none.
no, Miss April. No, no, no.
Okay.
See, this is where you're wrong. Okay? Did you not just hear what I just said to you? It
I
doesn't
got that.
it doesn't matter. It took other people to come out and say something against R. Kelly, like the Savages. That's the reason why she came out. Because the Savages gave her courage to come out and say something. She was the first victim to come out and say something. She was the first. She got the courage to say, you know what? These people are coming out talking about how their daughter was being taken advantage of by R. Kelly. You mean to tell me my friend Dominique, who at the time I introduced her, is still in this relationship and she's being abused? Hell no. I'm going to fucking come out and say something. They're giving me the courage to say something. So that's exactly what she did. She came out, she came forward, and she said, yes, I was one of his victims. Yes, I signed the NDA agreement. Yes, I went and settled with him. And yes, he did abuse me for a certain amount of time. And yes, I did lie about my age. And yes, I was a groupie fan. And yes, I am coming out now because I am brave.
No, you're not.
Shut up, Joshua.
Stop
I'm brave too. I need to go
Well,
to bed.
hey, Black Money Corp. Um,
Hi to David, Miss April. You said you asked how he was. Here he is.
hey, hey, hubby.
Girl, what you said? Say it again, Jay.
What
Up
you
there.
yelling for?
What?
Lay down. My curfew.
He's trying to lay down because he just got home from work. He's trying to lay down so he can go to sleep. He got to go back to work.
People don't let me fucking sleep. Never. God damn it.
That's why you smoke weed. Go smoke your weed and go
So
lay
I'm about
down.
to take like 3 Benadryls and pass out.
Their children are being snatched from stores and streets. Um, hey, this cycle, do you think any type of way, Diva, how can this cycle be broken?
It can never be broken. This cycle, like I said, this cycle of abuse and trauma will always be there. It's been there before Christ, and it'll be there as it is after death.
I don't give a shit.
You know, we just have to, as parents, teach our children
I don't
about the signs and be there for them. And if it does happen, you know, let your child know that you will be there for them no matter who or what it is or who it was. You will protect them.
That's right. You make sure you tell them not to sit on the priest's lap.
Right? Don't sit on no man's lap. You don't want
No.
no
I said priest.
you don't want your daughter laying on a man's lap, a priest's lap, a coach's lap, or nobody's lap. You know, that's not a good thing. It might be innocent, but in reality, you don't know what that man's head is going through once that child sits on his lap. He might just be all innocent like Santa Claus and say, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas this year? Ho, ho, ho." You don't know if that Santa Claus is sitting there getting a boner. You don't know if that
Right.
Santa Claus is sitting there thinking, she looks like she got some nice little titties on her. I would love to just feel on them. You don't know if that Santa Claus is sitting there saying, this little boy got a nice little juicy ass like a girl. I would love to slap it. You don't know what that Santa Claus is thinking about. And it could be all innocent because you want to take a 2-second picture to make your child happy that he was sitting on Santa Claus's lap and he gave a list off to Santa Claus of what he wants for Christmas.
Now you touching me.
But yet, next thing you know, he's being a pervert in that seat, thinking about how he could get close to your child.
I'm gonna unlock my phone
It could be anything, anywhere, at any fucking time.
Right now, look. Right now.
That's why I say the cycle will never end. The only thing that we can do is when our children are born into this world, prepare them for it. Tell them the truth. Let them know the early signs.
Okay, now, Diva, when, how did your traumatic experience, because, it was traumatic, how did it affect you as being a parent? Did it affect you or
No, it didn't affect me as being a parent. The only thing I can say is it made me to make my children hermits. My children do not go out, hang out, socialize, sleepovers. They don't really do any of that. They don't do that because mommy keeps them home in her eyesight. And my children are 13 and 17. Well, they'll be 13.
14.
They'll be 14 and 17. Their birthdays are coming up in a couple of weeks. So, and they're both virgins. And thank God for that. And they've never had any trauma because they've always been in my sight. I don't let my children go like that. Like my daughter has gone out with her friends to hang out, but I know where she's at and she's always with a group. So, but I've taught her things and she knows what's good and what's bad. And I want to
Mm.
keep it that way. I didn't want to be the parent that was always with their kids hanging out in the street, going here, going there, always. No, the safest place for you is at home.
Yeah, because molestation and incest. I mean,
My kids, I was always with my kids. I never said, here, can you watch my kids for me? No, no, I was not that. You can ask anybody that know me, even my mother. The only time my mother would get my kids is if my mother said, can I have them for the weekend? I was never that girl that was like, Ma, I gotta go party for the weekend. Bye. No,
yeah.
no. And when I had my kids, I was 31 and 34. I already had my fun. I already partied. I did my dirt. I did my shit. I was done. I was ready to settle down and be a mom.
Yeah.
That's all I.
Dear Dana says she was 5 years old and went and told her mother. I was the one that got punished. She never told my dad or anyone.
I'm sorry to
Wow.
hear that, sweetheart. I'm very sorry to hear that,
Hey,
mommy.
Black Money Court.
I'm so sorry
Yeah.
to hear that, Dana. I'm so sorry to hear that, sweetheart. That must have been, like for me, it was upsetting for me too. Like I just, at that point, I lost all faith in my parent when that happened, and nothing happened. The only thing that happened was I stopped going there. That was it. And then my auntie started babysitting me. That was it. Because my mother was young and she was having fun. So every weekend I was with the babysitter. I was with my aunt after that. She didn't leave me with anybody else but my aunt. And I was in very good care with my aunt. My aunt was very protective over us. So I didn't have to
So
worry.
if what if she would have went and killed him or something? Would that have made you feel better or attempt to kill him or
It wouldn't have made me feel better because I would have lost my mom, but I
yeah,
would have felt protected.
okay.
I would have felt protected, but I would not have been happy because my mom would have been gone. I would have been happy that he was gone, but not that my mom was gone. Because my mom is gone because she protected me. So I would have saw my mom as my hero,
Right.
but I didn't see that. So at that point, all my guards was down.
Now, when you got with your husband, did you tell him your life story?
Oh, no, not right away. No,
Not right away. Okay. Did
no.
you tell him before marriage or after marriage?
Oh, we're not legally married at all. We're just married by
Okay.
what do you call that, puppy?
I know. Whatever the common law.
Common law. Common law marriage. We've
Yeah.
been living together more than 2 years. Yes. So we're common law
Yeah.
married. We've been together for 18 years now. In June will be
Okay.
years. So
Okay.
yeah, my husband. Um when we first met, uh it was all good, hunky dory. I was very, very hypersexual me. You know, and I think maybe like halfway into the beginning of our relationship, I told him about
Mm.
my abuses because there was a certain thing that triggered me while we were Let me when we were about to be intimate, and I caught a trigger, and he was like, "Whoa, like, are you okay? Like, what happened?" And and then I let him know, I'm sorry, but I don't like that. I don't, because this happened to me, and this is how I felt. And then he was like, "Oh shit, like, I'm sorry. I won't do that." And and then from there I just slowly opened up little by little and told him different little things that happened to me in pieces.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
still today he doesn't know everything.
yeah. Dear Dana said she had issues about people touching her.
Okay,
She
see,
said,
people react different. Not every victim reacts the same.
yeah,
Every victim has a different reaction to trauma. No victim is the same.
yeah,
Everybody has a different flight. What is it? Fight, flight,
yeah.
or freeze reaction. My thing every time in a moment when I was getting to be in the position of being abused at that moment and being violated, I had the freeze situation. I would always freeze. I would always freeze. I always froze and would just let it happen to me with tears rolling down my eyes, not even taking a breath. Seriously, I would be numb, totally numb, numb, that I don't even feel what's happening to me. This is
So
my
you couldn't even, sex is supposed to be a beautiful thing, a
right,
good thing.
right.
But
But
when
I
you've
didn't
been
learn that.
traumatized,
I didn't
it's
learn that.
not a good thing.
Nope, I did not learn that. I just thought at that point, whenever a man wanted sex, let him take it, whether you wanted it or not. That's
Oh,
how I
man.
dealt with it. That's exactly how I dealt with it.
Oh, wow.
Everybody has a different reaction. Some people, when they're about to be abused, they will fight. And then there's also, if there's a person who's in that situation getting ready to go into it, they might just flight and run. Every
And
trauma is different and every victim acts different. There is
yeah,
no
Black Money Court
there is
says
no
raising
a victim.
to guard their personal space and respect others' space. And the realtor said, I ain't gonna lie, I never trusted the whole sitting on Santa's lap shit.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that too. I don't trust that. Never did it. Never fucking will. Because I already know that that man or woman sitting in that costume could be a fucking predator. I don't give a fuck if he got rosy cheeks and it says ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, 'cause he a ho ho ho.
Right?
And Dana, oh my God, how did you overcome yours? 'Cause you were punished.
Right, she was punished. That's crazy too when parents do that shit too and take it out on the child like it's their fault. That shit is bogus, man. That's real fucking bogus. You know, with parents like that, why they got kids? That's my question.
Do you think, um, like I said, parents don't get a manuscript?
No,
You
no.
think it just be so hard for them to deal with, or just? But I mean, to not believe your child isn't good. That's not good.
Not good. Always believe your child, but because you know what too, kids can be evil too. Okay, because there have been plenty of children, and I'm talking about minor babies, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds lying on adults too because they got upset because they might not have gotten their way with that adult. That shit has happened too. The same thing with women and men that lie about their abuse because they want to get some type of revenge back on their boyfriend, girlfriend, or their mother and father. It happens. It's just the way the world turns. It's just a natural way of the way people react. Some people act on it and some people don't act on it. Some people will kick it under the rug, some people won't. This is a never ending cycle. This will never end. You
Yeah.
know, people always say, "Oh, why aren't you're supposed to be for victims, and why aren't you fighting for all these missing kids, and blah 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 and blah blah blah." Because all the other people are out there doing that, and it's a never ending cycle. So what do you expect me to stop? I can't stop shit. The same way that you people can't stop predators from being predators. I can't stop victims from being victims.
Yeah. Dana, dear Dana says she went to therapy. Um,
I did too, sweetheart, when I was 16.
so who put you in therapy? Your mom?
Yeah, because I tried to kill myself.
Oh wow.
It drove me to a point where I became suicidal as a teenager. Yes. Yes. I was in a psychiatric ward for 2.5 months, a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. Um, I think it was about like 2 months. I was there for like 2 months. And then from there, I got shipped to Oneonta, New York, to where I joined Job Corps. And I was out there for like another 2, 3 months. Yeah, about 3 months. And then I AWOL'd and I left Job Corps because I was getting into too much problems up there. I had got into like 3 or 4 fights. Wasn't cool. I was trying to get away from everything, my neighborhood, the kids, and all the pressure I was going through, and my trauma. And instead, I got into fucking shit while I was up there. So I AWOL, came back home, and then I was introduced to marijuana. And from then, I never got depressed. I didn't have to take any medicine. I didn't do any therapy. I did my own therapy, smoked my weed, got rid of my anxiety, got rid of my depression, and I am who I am today.
Yeah. Dear Dana says I was raised in a house where you keep your business in your house.
Yes, me.
I was a very submissive child, not evil child. This adult was not related, was trying to save brother. Brother was 4. She would lock him in a shed.
Oh my
Oh
god.
boy.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. How is your brother doing, Dana? After all of that, being locked in the shed.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry about
Wow.
this, sweetheart. God bless you.
Oh
God bless your
Jesus.
family. I hope you guys are all okay, mentally,
Boy, I
emotionally.
would have never thought this about dear Dana, because
Sometimes,
when you go to her shows,
you
you
know,
know, she's awesome.
sometimes you never. I'm gonna subscribe to you. You can subscribe to me too. I got my own little channel.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's got her own channel, Diva Divine Light. Um,
Let me see if I can open the chat. Wait, hold on. Open up the chat. Right, I forgot I could open up this chat. Okay.
I heard Job Corps was rough back in the day. Do they still offer it? Yeah, they still have Job Corps.
Let me tell you, Black, yo, Job Corps was crazy. I didn't even think. I thought it was gonna be like some military shit. You feel me? So when I went in there, I was totally surprised that it was more hood than the hood. It was more hood than the hood. Okay. They were selling tray bags of weed. They were selling laps. They were selling crack up in there. There was girls and boys having sex in dorms and AWOLing and going to parties and shit and coming back. Like it was it was wild. We were fighting with fucking skunks and chasing deer, jumping out windows to hey, yo, let me tell you something. I jumped out the second floor window with two of my other homies that I met in there, two of my dorm girls, and a couple of the dorm boys, a couple of the boys from the boys, yeah, a couple of the boys that went to, because they had us separated, girls' dorms and the boys' dorms. So I was climbing out the second floor window from the rec room, climbing down the fucking, they had a pole going down the brick wall. So I'm sliding down the pole, going all the way down from the second floor. And when I got down, guess who I was met by? A motherfucking skunk. Stop playing. The skunk sprayed. Oh my. You, we was running into the forest, running, and the fucking skunk sprayed. Yo, that smell is so horrible. My friend got sprayed on because she was closest to the skunk. So they had to take her and dump her in one of the tubs and they put tons of fucking tomato sauce. Yo, she said she had to soak in a fucking tub of tomato sauce for 2 hours. She had to bathe in this tomato sauce to get this shit out of her. You gotta imagine, I was 16. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
And then once
Wow.
we got into the woods, there was a bench in the middle of the woods. One of the kids that were there, they dragged the picnic table all the way deep into the woods. So we have a spot to sit and smoke. So we ran over there and we all sat down. We were hysterical. We were dying. We were all stinking. It was just horrible. We smoked and then we ran back to the dorms. We got in trouble. Security found us running in the middle of the field, brought us back to the RAs. We all got in trouble. The troopers came. The troopers came. And they told us that if we ever did something like that again, that we could get a penalty and go into a juvie, and we would have to spend a couple of weeks in there. Da 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 da. Like what? That's like when I had got into a fight with this girl. She got beat up so bad that they was ready to fucking arrest me. What? Listen, I was like, what? Arrest me for what? I didn't stab her. I didn't shoot her. I didn't cut her with nothing. I didn't. No, but you marked her up really bad. She's really marked up really bad. Like you did her in dirty. So if she wants to press charges, we are going to lock you up for assault. And you will be charged as an adult because upstate New York, we don't play that shit. At 16, you're going to jail.
Woo.
That was crazy. Oh man. So after that, like I said, I had to AWOL. My opportunity was when I had got cause you put in for like I forgot what it was called, like a when you go back home for like a week and then you go back, it's kind of like a vacation from the Job Corps. I forgot what they called it. But I put in for it and I was granted to go away for the week for a visit with my family and then come back. So when I got granted, The visit, I wound up going and never coming back. I never went back. I never went back. And I told my mother I wasn't going back. I don't care what you tell me. I'm not fucking going back. And I told them if you try to send me back, I'm gonna fucking run away. Like that's what it was. So
Chi-Town Miss Unique says, I just wish parents would put the same energy, love, quality time, and support their children like they put into their relationships.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. You know,
Okay, Dave Dana says he did not get
my
put
mom.
in the shed. She took his place.
Oh,
Wow.
wow, wow. Yeah, Job Corps. They did pay me. I got paid $10. Uh, no. Was it $10? 11? What was it? It was. I had got paid $11 a week. It was like 10.50 or something like that. They would pay me every week. And then my mom had money in my account. My mom would send me money and put money in my account. So I always had money. That's one thing. That and that's another thing I noticed that some of the girls were latching on because they noticed I had money. So some of them bitches I had to that's why, I had got into a fight with this girl because she thought because I had started dating a kid in there. And come to find out she used to date that boy. So when she found out that he was dating me, she got upset and started talking shit. And she had this one girl trying to like um the girl was trying to like bully me, but she wasn't bullying me. She was more like she would walk past by me and she would give me looks and shit. So I'm like, what's good with this bitch? Like, why she keep looking at me? Like, I'm not one of those girls that's gonna be like, what you staring at? Like, that's just dumb. So I was just like feeling her out. Like every time she saw me, she had an eye problem and shit. And I'm like, something's up with this bitch. Something's up with this bitch. So the day that I left to go for my visit, I fought that chick. I fought her right before I got on the bus because I couldn't take it no more. I stopped her in her tracks and I said, yo, I have a question for you. And she was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, you don't like me or something? Because every time I pass you, you always grilling me or something. Like, what's the fucking situation? Like, I just got tired of the shit and I'm about to bounce. So if me and her's gonna fight, it's all good. Because I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna be out. So she started whatever saying whatever to me, and then I said whatever back, and then we got close into each other's faces. Then she tried to swing. I blocked it. I grabbed her by her hair. I put her down, and we was just rumbling on the floor. And then the security finally came. They broke us up. And then they took me outside. They took me outside to wait for the bus. They went in, they got my luggage and shit like that, and I just had to stay outside on the premises on the outside. I wasn't allowed to go back in, whatever, because of what had just happened. So that was that. Like I went through it. I went through it. I went through it. I went through it. And then I fought this boy. Well, not really so much fought him, but he kind of fought me really. Because I had got into an argument with the boy that I was dating in the hallway, and he decided to come in and try to stick up for his boy. Like, I was like, who the fuck is you? Like, what? Who is you coming out of nowhere telling me to lower my voice, this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And like, who is you? So that was crazy. So he was like, nah, that's my man's, da 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 da, like rah, rah, rah. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. So me and him is all face to face. And then I pushed him. So when I pushed him, he came back at me. But when he came back at me, he did some fucking football move and shit and went for my waist. Like he I don't know how to call it. He rushed me into my stomach, like with his shoulder in my stomach, and he ran me up against the wall. And once I backed up into the wall, he started just jamming me into the wall. I got winded. I was punching him in his back and punching him in his head. and he was just ramming me. I lost wind. My ribs were hurting from him ramming me and shit. My back. I fell on the floor. He started running. Once he started running, the boys that were cool with me, that I used to go and smoke bud with all the time, they seen me on the floor and was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Da da da. They saw my boyfriend at the time sitting there just staring at me like so they were like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You ain't see it, da, 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 what happened?" And he was like, "Yeah, this nigga bought it." And they were like, "What?" So then they started chasing my boyfriend, and then they jumped him in the middle of the staircase, and then after they did that, they went looking for that dude, and then they handled him. Like, I love those boys for doing that. Yo, word up. Like, seriously, I really love those boys. I wish I could see them right now today. Like, I never really thanked them for that, you know what I mean?
Hey, Ren Rock. Yeah, I have no respect for boys that put their hands on women or girls. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was crazy. Like, dude, I'm arguing with my boyfriend. We were just arguing. Like, nobody was fighting. I wasn't beating on him or, being an abusive girlfriend and nothing like that. We were just arguing. And he came over to, like, not mind his business. He wanted to mind his business. So that made me feel later on, because the boys were whispering later on about how my boyfriend was a little fruity. So that made me kind of think. I was wondering, like, after the fact, like, did these two have a thing going on? Like, for him to react like that? You know what I mean? Like, it made me think later on, like, what the fuck? Like, that was just weird. You know what I mean? So, because after that happened, there were whispers, and then the whispers got back to me, and then I was sitting there like, damn, you know what? Maybe that could be true, because, I mean, dude came and tried to fight me like I was fucking beating up on his girlfriend and shit or something.
Girl, I know it. It makes you wonder the way some of these men out here defending men. Miss Chi-Town, Miss Unique, you say R. Kelly should have gotten the help he needed when he was molested by his sister and neighbor. Hurt people, hurt people. Again,
Listen,
R. Kelly, he could be like anybody else, not ready to talk about it till
but,
he's 40, 50, or 60. Just
but
because he was a superstar
no,
does not mean he's
no,
going to go get the help that he needs.
Miss April, he
Huh?
actually spoke about it to the world when he wrote his book in
Yeah,
2000.
when he wrote his book, and I think that was the probably him trying to start talking about it, dealing with it then,
I think
which
he was
was what.
trying to deal. He knew he had a demon in him, and he let the people know that this is the reason why the demon was there.
And so, for people to say what he should have did, everybody don't get the help they need, and this is regular people when they should.
Like I said,
So,
look, it was keen for me to get some type of help, but I only got help for like 2.5 months. It didn't take that long. But some people, it takes longer than others to snap out of it, wake up, and move on with life and deal with your trauma and put it past you. Sometimes it takes longer than others. That's just what it is. Some people aren't ready to.
his mom, according to what we know, was abused too. Okay,
Yeah,
so when abuse is all you know, she didn't know no way to help her son.
right. She could have, because allegedly, because we don't have no real facts about this situation.
Yeah,
Allegedly, her grandfather molested her.
yeah.
So,
So it was a continuous cycle.
cycle,
So
generational curse. Right,
yeah,
right, right. That's sad too when that's generational like that, where there's always incest in
yeah,
your family. It'll skip a generation. It might be your great uncle today, and tomorrow it'll be your cousin.
yeah.
You- And then it might be your cousin's third son or daughter. Because girls are bad too. Let's get that shit right. Women are just as much as predators as men are too, okay? It's not just men, women too. Like R. Kelly said, he had I don't remember if it was his mother's friend or his mother's cousin or something like that that molested him too.
Well, just
So women are just as bad as men. I mean, shit.
I know. Look at that teacher that was going with the student and had the baby, went to prison, got out.
That's crazy
Like,
too. I remember that the boy was like 13 at the time or something, right?
girl, yeah, she had a baby, bam, went to prison and everything.
He was like 13 or 15 or something. Oh my God, that was crazy. And that's a white lady, okay? Okay? It doesn't
You
matter about
know,
it doesn't
you
matter
know.
it
Let
matters
me tell y'all something.
about the human race. It's not about color. I tell you that it's about the
Thank
human
you, thank you. Y'all make it about race.
it's a human color thing. It's a
Yes,
human color.
incest, molestations, cheating, stealing, adultery, killing, murders, and is in every race.
Right. It's a human thing. It's not a color. It's just people make it about fucking color. I hate that shit. I really truly hate that shit. When you look at it and you're like, what? Okay, maybe there's a more percentage of race that does this particular crime more than the other. But hello, that's only what's counted. What about all the motherfuckers that got away that we don't know about? You know what I mean? So you can't just statistically label that shit. It's a human thing. It's not a race thing. It's a fucking human thing.
You know what makes me so
Crazy.
mad is when they changed that statute of limitation in Illinois. It was to go after the Catholic priest.
Give me a second. I gotta go use the ladies' room.
Okay, we had over 1,000 priests in the state of Illinois that they were trying to indict. 1,000 priests. You can Google it in the state of Illinois. Do you know how many people, boys and girls, are walking around that has been traumatized by the people that they thought loved them? And then we wonder why some people can't show love or just don't have feelings. People don't want you to touch them. People don't like to kiss. All because of being traumatized. All from being traumatized by people that they love. This was deep for me when I know all of us cousins was together and we were taught don't be playing doctor, nurse, and all of that stuff. Y'all cousins, no, no, no. And some people that have been hurt, some will take their secrets to the grave. Can you imagine what that does to a person's mind, the mental and the stress, and just the way you're going to react, things that can trigger you to have to live like that? And we wonder why mental illness is on the rise, has been on the rise. We wonder why we have alcoholics and drug addicts. That's why you need not ever talk about anybody that's down. Speak to them homeless people. You don't know what these people done went through. Everybody is not strong. They're not strong. Everybody is not strong. They will turn to drugs and alcohol to numb the pain. Girl, Barry Hankerson family, Aaliyah's mom, the land fairs, all of those people, they took money. They took money, money, money. You know, these people got millions of dollars, own some of his rights to his music. The love of money. There should be a law for parents that pimp their kids out. I hope you guys are finding this show enlightening. And with everything that we see that is going on in Hollywood, how they've messed up these young kids' minds. There needs to be a law that the parents go to jail too. You are responsible for your child until the age of 17 or 18. You are responsible for that child. You are not supposed to pimp out your child for money. I don't know how these people can sleep at night or how you can turn a blind eye to somebody that is messing with your child. Hey, West Coast Bells, how you doing? How you been? So what the show started off to be is, and I got my good friend. Okay, hey dear Dana. Wow, I wouldn't have never thought that about you. You are always so cheerful. I love to come in your shows. You know, you give me inspiration. We shake it off in the beginning and we get ready for a great show. So, everybody, please check out Dear Dana. I don't know where my tablet is at. I had surprise company to come into town yesterday and surprise me. I don't know where my tablet is at to drop links. But we were talking about they had the oral arguments for for Rob. And then, I'm asking Diva, questions about her being a victim. And I'm going to tell you, I have learned a lot from this case. I have learned a lot. And The love of money is so true. The love of money. Money, money, money. But it's awful. It's awful that a parent would think that their kid is lying to them. See, this is what D.L. Hughley and Monique are feuding about. D.L. Hughley's daughter came and told him that his friend was messing with her. He did not believe his daughter. And these were the words of D.L. Hughley. That he did not believe his daughter when his daughter told him this. But now, after everything, he did believe his daughter eventually, and they've gotten the help they needed. So, Monique has bought this up. Negro, you didn't believe your daughter. When they try to say that women and kids are off limits, no, no, Negro, no, D.L. Hughley. You did not believe your daughter. You put that out there. You put it out there. So anytime anybody says anything about you not believing your daughter, we didn't ask for that information. You told the world. So if people talk about you, they should. Because we didn't need to know that. We did not need to know that you did not believe your daughter. So get over it. Get over it. Because you're going to be talked about for the rest of your life. You said this. I did not believe my daughter when she told me my friend was messing with her. And so now you want to get mad when people come back at you? Nah. But I will, you know, as Diva and Dear Dana and most people have said, sometimes a lot of people, they do not get the help that they need. It might be 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later. This is for normal people. Normal people. And the same applies to superstars because they're just normal people with a lot of money. They are dealing with the same problems that regular people deal with. Just because they have money don't mean they getting ready to knock down some therapist's door. A lot of times, a lot of them are forced to go into treatment in order to keep their careers. I really wished somebody would have tied R. Kelly's hands. Lord knows I do. I wish somebody, they would have made it. He would have been given a choice. I wish somebody would have tied his hands and said, hey, it's either this way or no way.
You know what, Miss April? I think if Sony would have something like that to him instead of paying him money to do all those settlements, that
Mm-hmm.
uh, if they would have gave him an ultimatum like, listen, we're gonna pay for this settlement for you for now, but the next time this comes up, we're gonna let you go. So make
Yeah.
sure this doesn't happen again. And I think, honestly, that would have woken the fuck up.
Yeah. If somebody would have tied his hands, like, hey, this is the way this shit's gonna be. This is what it's gonna be, but you know, the music, they don't care. They don't care. They it's all about money.
Letting him know that
Money.
you can get in trouble. People were letting him know you can get in trouble and you can go to jail. He didn't care about that. But I
Mm.
think that if, because he felt like he had enough people to protect him around him. But I think, like I said, if Sony would have stepped in and gave him an ultimatum, I think it would have stopped because he loves money. Like you were saying, money is the root to all evil. And he loved his money. His money is what made him better. So I think if they would have told him, listen, if you do this again, we're going to take away your money. I think that would have woke him up.
But of course, you know, we can remember what Michael Jackson said about Sony too. It's unfortunate that these labels,
And
the people that own the labels, they don't give a damn about you, just like regular people on the streets.
they want their money too, shit. The root of all
Yeah,
evil.
yeah. Money, 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 money,
Uh-uh.
money.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah. I wish, cause I tell you, this hurts, boy. It hurts. But I've swallowed the pills. You know, it hurts because Lord knows you could have never told me that this was the man that I know, that the April family knows. And so, ooh, excuse me, I just burped. If you if you know of any person that is abusing people or a person that's being abused, call the police. Call the police. Ain't no we gonna talk about it. Call the police. That way, maybe some of this stuff can stop.
Right. Maybe some of the victims that
You
become
know,
victims.
when people see the reason they're able to get away with this stuff for so long is, you know, everything that goes on in this house, it stays in this house. And so, call the police. Call the police. Don't go talking to nobody. Diva, do you think what was happening to you? Did you ever think about going to the police?
I did go to the police one time when I was groped at the age of 17. But when
Oh,
I was
okay, yeah. On the
when I was
subway.
a kid,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the courage. I was a kid. I needed an adult. I couldn't go
Yeah.
there alone and do it. I needed an
Right.
adult.
Right. But if you start putting fear into people, letting people know, you know, we cause the police. That might help this. We cause the police. Yeah. But you know, what I want for a person, you know, I don't live their life, but all I know is I don't know if he goes for them appeals and they kept emphasizing that he could get more time. I'm like, shit. Sounds like to me they want to throw the book at him if he does get a new trial. So, but you know, to have everything you want right at your fingertips and to end up in prison, it's got to be the most traumatic thing. Oh, West Coast bills. Me neither. I started feeling like I wanted it. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, trauma is it'll do that to you.
Everybody reacts different. Everybody has their own brain. Some people can suppress things that happen to them and they'll have something that will trigger them, that will bring up memories from 30 and 40 years ago, 10, 20, yesterday. Well,
Perhaps
I'm I'm glad
moving around
you Diva.
back and forth.
You, yeah, I'm glad you. What's your response when people always say, uh, "Go get the help you need"? Why are you so worried about R. Kelly? What's your response to that when people say that? Mm.
Well, at one point, I used to get really angry and offensive about it, but then I looked back at it and said, it's okay for them to say that.
Hmm.
Just don't understand. And if they do understand, they're just saying it just to hurt me because they see that I'm not fighting for R. Kelly. So therefore, being that I'm against him, I'm wrong for being against him. I don't know what I'm talking about for being against him. I don't understand for being against him. And every single last one of those points, they're wrong. So I just look at it, laugh, and brush it off my shoulder these days.
Now, so do you think prison helps people that have been molesters and incest? All these people, like dear Dana says, her great uncle's in jail. He's 81. Do you think that helps? Do you think they should go to mental institutions?
Well, if I think prison, um, supposed to, according to what they say, right? Supposed to be a place for rehabilitation, to come back and to enter society, to be the man who obeys or woman who obeys by the laws. That you're not going to do no wrong anymore. You're not going to commit those crimes anymore. You're a changed person. This lesson taught you what you were supposed to be taught. But in some cases, it doesn't always happen that way. The thing is that when you go to jail, you should use that opportunity as the tool that they want you to use it for to rehabilitate yourself. So that means when you go in there, don't go in there to politic, make friends, join gangs, be a bully. Your thing is to go in there, take your lesson, do your time, and rehabilitate yourself. That means get into programs, get into jobs, stay out of trouble, read the Bible to guide you, give you some type of support mentally, and mentally, because they're not going to do it for you. They're going to support
Right.
to help you do it. But you
Right.
have to be the one that does it. Because can't nobody in there grab you by your hand. You're not a child, you're an adult.
Right.
So it all depends on you. That's my answer.
Okay. Oh my God. West Coast Bill said they have blamed me for my daughter being murdered by her father. Oh my God. Girl, I'm learning a lot about y'all today. Boy,
And
some of
your daughter, I saw your video. I gave you a thumbs up, my love. God bless you, sweetheart. I know um, dealing with autism is hard, but dealing with nonverbal, um, that does that's harder. So I can empathize with you, baby. You're a strong woman, and God bless you, Mom.
ooh, West Coast Bells, I'm gonna have you on the show now to
Now,
talk about this.
did you pin the link?
Yeah, put the link in the chat. You
Did
know
you pin?
what I can say about some of y'all that I've met. We got 5 years in,
Yes,
cause
ma'am.
it is 5 years now,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm finding out, boy, my life ain't so bad after all.
It's
Cause
crazy.
and I'm saying that only because I haven't had a child murdered by their father. Like,
God bless you,
my
baby.
God, y'all some strong women. We are strong women, and there's some strong men out here too to deal with this stuff that life has thrown us. Oh my God.
You know, um, there's more women than there are men. So that should tell you something.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
Like there's 10 women to every one man. Men are strong physically, and mentally, women are strong. So because we are mentally stronger, we are stronger.
Wow.
I don't think a man would be able to handle giving birth like a woman
Girl, no.
can.
No. No, they couldn't. Honey, I know after one child, all
Right?
that pain I went through, I said I would never be on that table again giving birth.
Women that are having
Uh-uh.
8, 9, 6, 10 kids. That's crazy.
Uh-uh.
That's
Mm-mm.
times that the
Girl,
day
I
gets
hollered and
so
screamed.
out. We move. Wait, look. Oh, this is the letter. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to her.
No, this is for me.
Oh, the ones that say Davina Ramos.
It's for her, but it's for me because she don't know what's going on with her lawyer. This is her lawyer's paperwork.
Wow. Chi-Town, Miss Unique. I know a lot of people that have gone to prison. Because in this town, everybody knows everybody. And it did them good. And I know some people that I had to wonder if they had a girlfriend in prison. They kept going back so much. So,
You just have ice
yeah.
cream?
hmm Oh, Diva, they want that ice cream.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. Hold on.
They want that ice cream. They were talking about that ice cream since you had it.
I already gave my
Mhm.
son ice cream. He's coming back for more.
So, West Coast Bells, I'm going to have you next on the show. Um, I have also, y'all check out the Salt and Pepper show with me and Amber Angels Truth. Uh-oh. West Coast Bill said, nothing is stronger than a vagina. Balls are very sensitive. They better sit the hell down. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, my life ain't bad after all. Ooh, Jesus. That's why we can't pass judgment on people. We don't know what people done went through. Um,
Yo, Coach, that's funny.
I know. Yeah. Well, shoot, we've been on here 2.5 hours, y'all.
Yeah, I'm about
I
to
am getting
make lunch. I
get
gotta make lunch now too.
yeah, I'm getting ready to get on in this show. I thank everybody for joining us. This was a real great show. I hope this show, I hope somebody will report the abuser and the abusee.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to the police.
Time people stop sweeping things under the rug. You see something, say something.
You see it, you say something about it.
Right. Don't protect the abusers, protect the child,
Yes.
the victim.
The children are our future. And I need good, strong minded kids. I don't need kids that's on Xanax like me, helping me in my old age.
Or kids that are like me that are on marijuana as a type of a medical stress anxiety reliever because I don't like medicine to tell you the truth. I really don't. None of those medicines they had me on Seroquel. I felt like a dope fiend. I don't like feeling like a dope fiend. So I'd rather smoke my weed, my medical marijuana for my anxiety and depression and keeps it good to go. I be happy and laughing all day. Don't nothing phase me anymore. Okay. Joshua, why you lie? Stop.
Um, hey, Rocker. Okay, West Coast Bills. I'm gonna go to your channel and leave my email, and you can inbox me.
West Coast, do you have a West Coast, do you have a wrench? Hey, Rockin'.
I know Rockin'.
Any of you
Yeah,
guys close of Rockin'? You have a wrench? Can you throw my channel link in, guys?
yeah. Throw her channel link in there. Yeah, cause we're making You know,
I'm gonna
there's
check your live out, Miss April. I haven't caught one of your lives in a minute.
yeah, girl, and you know
I was like, oh,
I
I
don't talk about R. Kelly on my channel because there's other things that's going on in the world.
yes, baby. I've watched your stuff, baby. I just, like I said, I haven't caught you live yet. I've just been watching your replays. I haven't caught you live in a minute, so I saw you on. I was like, oh shit, I get to see her now.
Yeah, I'm glad because you know I listened to your channel. You know when the oral arguments, but I was dozing on and off. I gotta start getting iron fusions Monday. My iron is real low. So I've been like lightheaded, dizzy, and sleeping a lot.
I just had a mild stroke too. I just had a mild stroke a couple of weeks ago.
Did
So
you?
yes, girl. Yes, girl. So now I'm on aspirin and high cholesterol medicine because I have plaque in my aorta.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I also have and it's cholesterol plaque. So I have to lower my cholesterol. I have to bring that shit down. Um so because they said I could I also have a narrowing in the aorta, the top of the aorta, whatever. Um
Mm-hmm.
where it's calcifying, so I have to be careful that it doesn't close up. And I also have a slow leaky valve.
Mm.
Right. So they said, if I don't take care of myself, thank you, West Coast. So
Thank you.
if I don't take care of myself, I could, wind up getting a stent in the area and getting a bypass surgery.
Oh no. Well, we need you to do that because I don't need them to be putting no stents and all of that stuff in you.
Hey, like what? Oh my God. I saw the surgery, like I actually looked it up and shit. And I was like, oh my God. They take a vein from your leg
Yeah.
and they attach it to your heart and make a whole new way for blood to go.
Mm-hmm.
They'll steal that valve and then they make a new one for you.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm scared. So yeah, I'm trying to keep my cholesterol down. I gave up eggs and butter.
Okay.
Because I know that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm getting ready. Let me get off this.
Yeah. Thank you, mommy. God bless
Okay.
you. Thank you, Miss April, for having me on. And I hope
No problem.
everybody got a chance to understand where a victim's position comes from and why they don't report right away and why it might take so long.
Yeah.
And also hopefully people got to understand why a victim sometimes becomes a victimizer.
Yeah.
So maybe I hope that everybody got a chance to really understand, because it's very important to push that message out too. People got to understand both sides.
Right. And that's what I've always liked about y'all and coming over. Even though I was for him, I could still understand where everybody was coming from.
Right,
You
right.
know.
That's why I love you, Miss April, too, because you can understand the victim side because R. Kelly was a victim.
Right.
You can't get mad at the victim because you understand the victim.
Yeah.
Just the only thing that I understand that you don't agree with is how people said they loved him and didn't really look out for him.
Oh, girl, I'm mad about that too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I understand where you come from
Yeah.
too. That's how we grew to be able to communicate. Even
Right.
we are on opposing sides in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a chance to understand each other. That's why we respect each other. And I love you, Miss April, for that because I wish other people on the other side can get together and understand both sides. We could understand both sides. We understand that he was a victim and he became an abuser later, but it wasn't really his fault because he started out that way as a child. Then
I
he
know.
and
Diva, I could remember
trauma messes.
when I would find out stuff, girl, I would cry like a baby. I would just be crying like a baby. I'm like, wow. But so we'll see. We got 5 years into this. Um, I'ma still keep coming over to your shows when you report it, cause that way I get the actual facts, not
Facts
nobody's opinion. I
spinning.
want facts of what's going on with him.
April, you know that I like to be the information lady. I really
Yeah,
don't want to be a gossiping channel and all this shit. No, I just want to give out the facts as they are laid to me in front of my face, let the people know the information, and give my own opinion on it. And that is it.
yeah.
I don't want to
Well,
fight. I don't want to do none of that shit. That's
yeah.
not what I'm here for. It's not.
But Diva,
And
in
educate.
all honesty, we was fighting a losing battle because Angelo had already set up camp
Oh
with
God,
King Two.
I can't. With him,
Yeah, trying to tell everybody to hate everybody that supports him, attack everybody. And so it was already like a losing battle to begin with because he had already laid out a plan. And yes, I said it, Angelo, Pimplo Clary, sue me. Uh,
oh,
he had already had King Troop, for everybody to attack those that supported him. And excuse me, man, I gotta take a Tums. And so we all came on YouTube, and it just turned into something that shouldn't have happened because of one man trying to protect the dirt that he had did. Because if we would have been talking and having great conversations, we would have been like, you know what, something ain't right. We would have been investigating and stuff because everybody was investigating and everybody thought,
things that we didn't know, Miss April, until after the trial. So that was kind
I
of like
know, I know, and
fucked up. But
and just remember, people.
now we know. I just say like this. Now we know, right? Now we know that those were some fucked up parents. Now we
Yeah,
know that in reality, right now, there's nothing really we can do about them.
ain't
There,
shit we can do. Ain't that something?
there's really
Ain't
nothing.
that something?
I'm gonna tell you what there is. There is, and it only has to come from Azriel. The other thing that could be done is R. Kelly can sue those parents for defaming his name. That's it. That's all. That's really it. That is all. The girl has to be able to sue her own parents for her own victimization.
I know, ain't that something?
Parents are gonna fucking feel anything as if that little girl took them to court. Other than that, what can we do? We can't even do anything as a people. We can't.
Nothing, nothing.
So at the end of the day, they're just gonna be some fucked up parents like Aaliyah's parents, like Rashonda Landfair's parents, and whatever other parents was involved. Haley Calhoun's mother sat right there. She let it all happen as long as she was able to sign an NDA and hush up and not say anything about anything that she sees that goes on. It's okay. Like there's a lot of Michelle Gardner. It was okay for her daughter to be going back and forth. Why? Because her daughter's already 17. She's already an adult at 18, 19, and 20. So what could she tell her daughter? Nothing. She got to do exactly what Haley Calhoun's mother did. Sit there and eat all that shit.
And yeah, and see, that's I had a big problem with that too.
That's hard. That's hard. It's hard. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
So
this story is one big circus saga, and
it
it's a
really is.
story. Yeah, it is, girl. Mm-hmm.
It this is when I tell you this is a circus with the sideshows and everything. It is, you know. And we stuck in this matrix. We stuck in the twilight zone. We are.
We are.
Now we stuck in it. I ain't gonna lie, cause um, whenever I see something new, I be like, "Oh damn! Now I got to see what's going on." Yeah. So we stuck in this shit. Okay.
Salute to R.
So
Kelly because at the end of the day, we all love him. That's just what the fuck it is.
yeah, people don't hate R. Kelly. They hate the things.
Yeah, like, see, I don't hate R. Kelly. I just hate the fact that he fucked up his life for some fucking pussy when he could have got older pussy. Like, seriously, he could have had any fucking adult woman to let him pee on her. Like, and he could have had bitches shitting and eating out of a cup as adults. He didn't have to take minor
You know that that's childhood trauma, right?
girl, all that
Eating
shit.
feces and stuff. You know that comes from childhood trauma.
That trauma did not that came from stuff that he learned over time because there was this whole thing of two girls in a cup. One of the girls, and he talked about it in the mitigation report. One of the girls, he mentioned her name, but they redacted her name, so we don't know which girl it is. Decided to show him about threesomes and coprophilia and men and all this shit that he decided to say, okay, let's go freaky to another level. Because
Woo!
he already started with the piss. He just didn't know about the whole shit. I don't know which girl, Miss April, but it was in his mitigation report. That's where they were talking about that he likes to play with coprophilia, and it's this thing called scat, and it's a new thing that people do in the S&M world, and they play around with feces and urine,
Oh,
and that's just what they do. It's part of the sex world. R. Kelly
nah.
used to it by one of the girls. I don't know which one, but
All right, going on and fix lunch. This is April Showers. I thank everybody for joining us today. I hope you got something from this show. Thank you all.
peace.
Peace. I'm out.